All right, you know what? I haven't done one of these, so let's just do it. Walk talk time again. And I am back out in one of my favorite trails. It's just real close to the house, real easy to get down to. I don't know, you can still hear the road. At the same time, I mean, it's just nice. There's certain spots on here that feel a lot further out than they really are, and it's just easy to get to. And you know, I've been thinking a lot today, thinking a lot over the last few days. This is 18 years with my wife. Started dating her 18 years ago. It's just crazy to say, right? And you know, just thinking about how far how far we've came, and all the ups and downs, trials, tribulations, and it's like what a journey. You know, kind of wish everybody could find a spot like this, just a place where you're out, it's not too far away, and you could just get some thoughts off your chest. And that's what Walk Talk should be for me. And here we are, 18 years later, and all the lessons I've learned. Let's just start with this. My wife and my brother were very, very adamant that when I was going through all my issues, that it was time to get physical and get stronger mentally and physically. And I always thought that it was pointless in the world, because why? We live in a world that has a lot of technology. I wasn't doing a physical job. I still don't do a physical job. So why in the world would I get into shape? And you know, why would I need it? It's a lot of work. And well, this is what I've realized during all that. Getting physically active has a couple main benefits, and the big one for me is it just gives you a spot to get all the thoughts out of your head. It's hard to think about anything else when you're either out in the woods, you know, real early in the morning, wondering what the hell the sound is in the trees, whether you're out pushing the bike on mile 30 and your legs are burning, and your heart's pumping and your lungs are burning. And I don't have a road bike or a gravel bike or anything like that. It's just a mountain bike. And it's hard to feel bad for yourself when or even feel like anything could touch you when you're, I don't know, it's hard to have a bad day at work when you know you're going to beat the hell out of yourself way more than anybody at work can. You know, what does it matter that you had a bad meeting? What does it matter that somebody was upset about something? You're going to work harder, punish yourself more, and get through it yourself. So it's just a mindset shift. And I think that's what we're missing. The other thing I learned is physical activity, clearing your mind and getting yourself mentally stronger, is it's a pathway out of mental health struggles. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I was on 5-6 different mental meds. I had insane diagnoses, and I was going nowhere real fast. And detoxing was a pain in the ass. It was absolutely miserable. But it's been probably the best thing I ever decided to do. see, what else have we got today? Let's just talk about it. Accountability. I do accountability days every day. Just kind of my way to be able to look back and see what I was doing, how hard I was pushing, if I was hitting my goals, and I try to let the titles speak for themselves. I don't always hit it. Sometimes I got a reason, sometimes I don't. And it's just nice to kind of see what's up. You know, for instance, this week I know I missed my sled pulls. I didn't get them in when I wanted to get them in. But I also know it was for a family reason, and you know, who cares? Sometimes you ain't gonna have a perfect day. And I do know I woke up the next day absolutely shredded on my legs. So I know I pushed hard enough on my squats and my front squats, and my abs were killing me, so I had a real good workout with my abs. So who really cares if I miss one exercise? You know, I also document all the failures I had on hikes and everything else, and it's not to beat myself up. It's just to know how far I think I could go and what I'm doing. And I've also gotten smarter. Like I want to go on my next big hike. I really, really want to push it and see how far and how long I could go. And I was about to rush myself out this weekend with little to no sleep after a vacation, a sinus cold, and let's be real, that would have been an absolutely miserable time. I would have set myself up knowing I had to work today. You know, I made a promise to my team when I started that, hey, we reduce some defects, we put up numbers, Sundays come. And it doesn't really matter to me. I'm salary. It doesn't matter what extra day I work. I don't get paid any extra. But it does matter for the team. And I can't do it without them. So it's, you know, it's just little things like that. You know, we have a manufacturing break coming up soon. So, you know, I could leave in 2 weeks. I could push myself as hard as I want, and I'll have plenty of time to recover. And it's just being patient and picking the right times and not setting yourself up for failure later on. And then just the last thing I wanted to talk about today was my faith journey. And anybody at all that knew me, anybody that anybody that tried to talk to me about religion before, they'd tell you the same thing. I knew every mega pastor and every pastor that did something wrong. I could tell you about Joel Osteen preaching the prosperity gospel and not really preaching about the suffering and the sacrifice that religion asks for. I could tell you about Creflo Dollar begging his people for another private jet. I could tell you about that other crazy dude saying he needs private jets because flying in aircraft, even first class, is being in the tubes with demons. I could tell you every pastor that got arrested for touching kids. I could tell you all the insanity from it. And let me tell you what I figured out here. There's a lot of people that call themselves Christians, and there's a lot of people that call themselves Christians just for societal or moral reasons. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're trying to live by Christ, and it doesn't necessarily mean, doesn't really mean that they're doing anything. It just means that they're another person trying to exploit something else like everybody else does. But this time it was a little different. 3.5 years in, so this May, actually not even 3.5 years. My sobriety date is March 28th, so May, so it was 3 years or 4 years and 2 months in. God, I love this tree. Every time I make it out here. Just look at this bad boy. All right. Sorry, off topic. But then I started digging into the actual, people that try to live that way. I can't remember the guy's name, but Cliff Hinchcliffe. Listened to a lot of his stuff. Wesley Huff, I dug into him a lot. And then I just got a Bible and started reading it. And, for a lot of times I kept thinking, if there is a God, how the hell could he make me suffer the way I was suffering, right? Then through all the research, I realized that God gives us all free will. He doesn't promise that life's going to be easy. He doesn't make you serve him. It's just, you got free will to be as good or as bad as you want. You have free will to make all the good choices you can make and all the terrible ones you can make. It's really about just taking the lessons and applying it to your life and trying to be a better person. And am I anywhere close? Absolutely not. I still curse like a sailor. I still have thoughts that I probably shouldn't have. But there is one thing in it that I needed and I've really been digging into, and that is forgiveness. Like, I'm really, really, really hard on myself. I could tell you 1,000 bad things I did, dating all the way back to when I was 13, 14 years old, and a buddy of mine snuck through his garage to jump down just jump out of the roof for some reason. It's pretty fun, landed on pillows. I can remember how mad my mom was when we lied about it. I think we went Christmas tree shopping that night as well. And yeah, I could tell you about all the things I've done wrong. And I'm not one of the ones that think of a lot of the things that I've done right. Never have, never will. It's just not the way I'm wired. But digging in, learning about religion, learning about forgiveness, learning about being a righteous man is kind of eye-opening, and it really ain't that hard. Then the final thing is just how stupid I was in the beginning. I don't really know how else to put this. I don't really want to piss anybody off, but I for a long time was a very left-leaning, cared about everything else but what I needed to care about. I was just angry all the time, thinking about how the world's all screwed up and how we're screwing over everybody. Thinking, the country I lived in sucked. And I just brought that negativity everywhere. And there's one thing I've learned through this journey is I can't control what anybody does. I can't control really even what the country does, and it doesn't really matter to me anymore. What I can control is how I live my life, how I impact my family, how I impact others around me, how I give back. And I can put the main thing on the main thing, and it ain't about how big your house is. Coming up here is a little clearing that I've walked 100 times, and I still remember the first time I took my wife and kids on this, and looking back at my wife and just seeing her eyes light up when we hit this clearing. And you got all these giant oaks and all this ivy all over the place, and I remember my kids thinking how awesome it was, and then It hit me right then and there. Nobody cares what car I drive. Nobody cares about my address. Nobody cares about my zip code. My employer doesn't. Anybody that really likes me doesn't. Maybe social media does. So why the hell do I care? All I need to do in life is show my boys that life's gonna kick you in the ass. You're gonna make mistakes. I've made a lot. But none of that matters as long as you respond properly and you get the hell back up. And you stop feeling sorry for yourself and you just take life by the horns and you just attack it. You know, you get up, you go on a bike ride, you push yourself. You think you're gonna stop at mile 20? Well, push yourself 10 more. You know, if somebody had told me a year or two ago that I'd be able to deadlift 400 pounds, I would have told them they were crazy. I thought I was weaker than my wife. And I say all that to say this, like life is about overcoming the adversities that either you caused for yourself or that life threw at you. It's not about making excuses and saying, well, why the hell am I the only one getting arrested? Why the hell did they pull me over this time? Statistically, yada, yada, yada. It's like, all right, I'm here. I screwed up. I dug a hole. How the hell do I overcome this and become a better person? You know, it takes me all the way back to my employer. I worked for a lot of different sales places, and it was always funny. You know, I was always good enough to where I could have a few bad weeks and then just turn it on for a week or two and it was all good. And this employer was the first one that just cared. I remember my boss pulling me in and getting ready to write me up. And she literally goes, man, what the hell's going on? This isn't you. You've been here a long time. I don't understand why you're missing all the basics. I explained to her what was going on, that I was detoxing from alcohol and Adderall. And she said, all right, well, we ain't gonna do this to you then. You're gonna go over to medical. You're gonna put yourself on short-term disability. You're gonna get the hell off all of it. You're gonna come back and you're gonna continue doing what you're doing. And she was absolutely right. And life's never been better. And that's kind of where I've came to be. I can't change everything. I can't change the world by getting pissed off and yelling about it. But I can impact the next generation and my children by showing them, you know, you don't quit, you don't give up. You push through, you get stronger, you overcome. And I can show my daughter what a real man is and that. And what an actual marriage is supposed to be, a partnership. You know, I don't know. And speaking of a marriage, my wife, man, like, I am so blessed we've made it this far. I don't know, it's hard to explain, but for years and years and years, man, I kept thinking of how bad I was and she should just leave, and I'd nitpick everything and try to, I think I was waiting for it. So you nitpick every little flaw, every little argument that you get into, you blame everybody else. And then finally I said, F it. I got out of my way. I put in the work. And you just realize how blessed you are, man. Like, I put her through hell. We made it through. I get to wake up next to one of the best people I know every day. I get to wake up to an absolutely beautiful woman that doesn't have to wear any makeup, that can get up and go on whatever hike we want to go on, who gets excited when her kids are happy, who gets excited when I come in from a big lift, who gets excited when we get a promotion, and who's just focused on moving forward and getting stronger together. And that's what life's about, man, and that's what I found out finally. It ain't about anything else. It's about being a damn good person, getting better every damn day, and seeing what you can do. And on a side note, I am so blessed I got to do this early. You know, my parents are getting up there in age. And you know, I'm blessed enough to work with my dad, so I get to spend a lot of time with him. And you know, for years I had the wrong attitude, and you know, I'm sure he enjoyed working with me, but it was just kind of some bullshit. It was more worried about if I was okay, worried if I was sick, worried if I got too drunk, worried about whatever. And to be able to see his face light up when people are telling him I'm doing a damn good job, to be able to look at my mom and be like, hey, all that shit we were worried about and all that stuff you were worried about me doing, it's in the past, man. We made it. It just makes this whole damn thing worth it, man. I don't know how else to explain it. So that's what I got today. This is the just another walk talk. Been in a real reflective mood ever since it's today is December 7th, 2025. This is 18 years with my wife. I've had a lot of crazy thoughts today, but overall, man, I'm just blessed to be here, and so thankful we've came through it. I can't wait for another 18 years with my wife, and can't wait for the next big adventure with my brother, the next big lift we're gonna push through. I can't wait for the next ride with my kids. Let me end with this. My son got himself benched, not really on it wasn't his fault. He sacrificed for the team, played goalie, lost his timing, and ended up losing his starter spot last year. They got a goalie that went through a growth spurt already, and he wasn't even the starting goalie. And after everything, and not really, and all that, you know, I was able to be there for him and tell him, listen, little dude, you got two options. You quit, you find something else to do, or you push harder and earn your spot again. The little son of a bitch has done it. He's back to starting on the field almost every game. If he's not, he's playing goalie in the beginning. And to be honest with you, he's probably the best goalie on the team, because he's just got a super resilient attitude. And that's what makes all this shit worth it. It's not about what I do. It's not about what it's not about what I've done. It's about watching the next generation can overcome and kind of learn from all your damn mistakes. And I'm just a blessed man to be able to make it this far, and I'm blessed to have the family I have. And well, this is just a little bit of a reflection after all of it, man. I'm just happy to be here, happy to be alive, happy to be able to go on a little hike. So put it down below if you're getting better today.